Hey guys, this is Bryan from FantasyLabs. It's been a little bit since we introduced the opponent plus minus, the new and enhanced version, or as you guys may have come to know it through articles or on Twitter, it's the true DVP, or defense versus position. And we have it in our models, and it's a little bit different than it was at the beginning of the season, and it's very different than you will find on any other site. So I wrote up an explanation, but still having some questions about it. So maybe I didn't quite write it up as well as I was hoping to. So I just want to do a quick video tutorial, kind of exactly what it means, for your models and for your lineups, and in particular each player. So let's kind of pull up a model. I have the fan model pulled up, which is one of the popular ones for NBA, especially for cash games. So let's just kind of go to a position. And this is for tonight's slate. So we have DeMarcus Cousins. We see he has a really good opponent plus minuses right here. So I'm just going to sort by this so you can kind of see. So opponent plus minus, just kind of as a definition, is the plus minus meaning expected or actual points minus expected points. So obviously it's salary adjusted, which is really important. It's different from even just a regular DVP found on another site. So it's the plus minus allowed to that position by the opposing team. So, for example, let's look at DeMarcus Cousins, who is a great play tonight. So his opponent is New Orleans. So what this number is telling you, the opponent plus minus, is the plus minus allowed to DeMarcus Cousins. All right, so before in our models, what it was going to tell you was the plus minus allowed to power forwards playing against New Orleans. Unfortunately, that's not super accurate for a lot of players even, and I think DeMarcus Cousins is actually a pretty good example of this, because if you look at his positional splits, wherever you want to look at it on Basketball Reference, or there's some other sites that kind of do position splits estimates of what they actually play on the court, not what DraftKings assigns them as. DeMarcus Cousins actually plays power forward only 8% of the time. 92% of the time he plays center. So even though he's listed as a power forward on DraftKings, it's not really that useful to get DVP, information on how New Orleans defends power forwards and apply that to DeMarcus Cousins, because he plays a different position 92% of the time. You can apply this to a lot of different guys, and you have, like, take the Bucks example. They have those wings who kind of just switch everything. You have Chris Middleton and Giannis, who play the shooting guard, small forward, but they often switch. Giannis will honestly play a lot of shooting guards. He'll play some power forward. They even play him at point guard and center. Like, he's one of those guys who just kind of plays every position. Kawhi plays a lot of 3 and 4. So if you're looking at Giannis and you're looking at his DVP on a site like DraftKings, where you're picking your players and has the red or green, it kind of shows you the DraftKings points allowed to that position. That's great and everything, but if you're looking at Giannis's DVP right next to his name, really that's all it's telling you is the DraftKings points allowed to small forwards by that team. That's great. For part of what Giannis is doing, but if he's only going to play 40% of the time at small forward, he's going to play maybe another 40% of the time at power forward, and then 5 and 10, another 5 here at some other position. He's been playing some point guard lately. As you can see, it's problematic to use DVP that way, because you're just not really getting much of usable, actionable data, because he's only playing 40% at that time. DeMarcus Cousins is kind of an extreme example here. You're going to see DVP like on DraftKings. It's going to be DraftKings points allowed to power forwards, and DeMarcus Cousins rarely even plays power forward. So that's an example where I would say that it's really not useful, really even at all. So what we have done is we've taken the plus minus allowed to the position by that team, and what we've done is we've weighted according to each player's position splits, which is why each player has a very different number, because it's very unique to them. So what we will do is we will take the opponent plus minus allowed by New Orleans to center, and we will weigh that 8%, and then we will take the opponent plus minus allowed by New Orleans to power forwards, and we will weigh that I'm sorry, it's the opposite. The opponent plus minus allowed to centers, and we'll weigh that 92%, and we'll take the opponent plus minus allowed to power forwards, and we will weigh that only 8%, and give you kind of what is a true DVP or this new and enhanced opponent plus minus, where it's adjusted for their actual splits, which I think is actually a really good thing that no one else is doing. I think it's incredibly predictive. And just kind of as a quick example before I plug it and finish here, you can see DeMarcus Cousins, his opponent plus minus is a really, really good plus 4.93. And if you go down, you see Quincy Acey, who also plays for Sacramento, also plays for power forward, and his opponent plus minus is kind of just an average 0.29. It's because Quincy Acey plays mostly power forward, and DeMarcus Cousins plays mostly center. So, that's why it really doesn't make sense to kind of just use regular DVP, because, most sites will tell you that is a similar matchup for those two players, when in reality it is not at all the same. And in fact, it's a great matchup for Boogie, but not so great for Quincy Acey. So I think this is a really powerful tool. I think our old opponent plus minus was pretty predictive and pretty powerful, and I think it showed that in our testing. But once we added position splits, because it's just something that we wanted to do, to always be one step ahead and cutting edge, and really just we just want to give the best data. We don't want to mislead. And if we gave the DVP of for DeMarcus Cousins of how New Orleans defends power forwards, honestly, that's misleading to you guys, because you guys think that that's a good matchup when it's not. So we wanted to make sure that we weighted and we got you the best data that is actually predictive of on-court success and actually going to be useful for your lineup. So, we've back tested the new and enhanced opponent plus minus, and it is even more powerful and predictive. So that's definitely good news. And I'm really, really excited that it's in our models and that you guys get to use it, because I think, the fact that it's plus minus, so adjusted for salary, and now it's adjusted for position, something that was sorely needed, kind of in the NBA DFS community, as as a measure of how good a player's matchup is. And I'm glad that we were able to get this into the models. I know we got it in. Not at the very beginning of the season, but it's a process, and we got it in, and just really excited that you guys get to use it, because I think it's really good, and it'll help you out. So thanks for watching. Enjoy, and hope you guys do well the rest of the NBA season.